Hello everyone, I'm Nick Dobie with DoubleSlash, and today I'm going to be covering a basic overview of what DoubleSlash is all about. So, DoubleSlash is a tutorial website that tries to differentiate itself by having a continuous project where each tutorial adds a new component to the project. Our project is called GitSocial. GitSocial is a social networking site for programmers and will actually be live and available for use. When a new tutorial is added, we will make a note of where to find it on GitSocial so that you can experiment with it. So let's go through where you can find all the necessary resources for GitSocial. First, we will look at our GitHub repository. All of GitSocial's code will live on here and can be downloaded and used freely. To help with finding things, we are classifying each tutorial as a version release. So if you go to the tags for the repository, you can see the code after each episode or deploy it on your local computer. Other important areas on GitHub are the issues and wiki pages. If you ever have a suggestion, problem, or question, please post it to our issues and we will respond as quickly as possible. The wiki, on the other hand, will contain any information relevant to setting up GitSocial, using the site, or common problems. The wiki will also have an errata page for when there's a problem with our code that was found after the tutorial was posted, or if an update has a difference between our code and the new standard. Any major differences will be given its own video. Now let's look at the languages. This is just a quick rundown, and links to all the websites can be found in the show notes. GitSocial will have a Ruby on Rails backend. I have found Rails to be a very friendly and stable framework. However, we won't be using it for the front side. Instead, GitSocial will have a JavaScript framework. I chose to do it this way because I felt that there isn't a lot of coverage for these, but there is a lot of nice features to them. We will specifically be using AngularJS by Google, but I may have alternative versions of the tutorials using Backbone.js or Knockout. Now, the next three items are preprocessors that I love using. They really clean up my code and make it easier to maintain. For HTML, I've chosen a Haml as an alternative to ERB, which is the default engine for Rails. It has a much simpler syntax and is similar to the structure of the other two preprocessors I have chosen. If you are unfamiliar with Haml, take a look at their website. It has fantastic tutorials and documentation. For CSS, we will use Sass. This is included by default with Rails and really makes working with CSS, especially CSS3, easy. There are two versions of Sass, Sassy CSS, and just Sass. I generally refer to the last as indented Sass. We'll be using the indented form in order to match Haml and the other preprocessor. Also, like with Haml, their website is a great way to learn the language. Finally, for JavaScript, we will use CoffeeScript. This is by far my favorite preprocessor. It makes my life so much easier. This is probably the hardest preprocessor to get used to because there's a lot of syntax changes between it and JavaScript. But once again, their site has an excellent documentation and tutorials, and I strongly suggest giving it a shot. The last item I want to talk about is the database we will use. I chose Postgres simply because I will be hosting with Heroku, which expects Postgres. You should be able to use MySQL and SQLite for now, but I may use features only available in Postgres in the future. But I will make mention of that in the tutorial. So that has been a basic rundown of DoubleSlash and GitSocial. Look forward to our first tutorial, which will cover setting up a local database file and creating a table to store user information. I'm Nick Dobie. Have a great day.